Hey, what's up, everyone? My name is Michael, and today I'm back with telling a story about the first time I did acid and how it went. I have a lot of psychedelic stories that I could tell, but I'm gonna start with the acid one. So this happened, I think 4 or 5 months ago, and I've done shrooms before. I've done shrooms probably 3 times before I did acid, and I'm gonna say shrooms are a little bit more crazy than acid, but acid is more they have their own cool things about them. So this happened. I was at my homie's house, and I have another story fully telling how I got that acid because that was a whole other trip, and it took me so long to get those two acid tabs. I did it with my homie. So we popped those acid tabs at 12, probably at his house, my homie's house, and for some reason, I'm gonna go straight away and start with this. It did not hit him, so he was the trip sitter because he got some knockoff acid the last day, and it was N-bomb. If you know, guys, what N-bomb is, he got that shit, and his tolerance level went very high, and it didn't kick him. So the acid tabs were 220 UG, so they were pretty lit. They were pretty good. They were pretty potent for the first time. I thought that would be a good experience because I'm pretty experienced with shrooms. So yeah, we popped those tabs at 12, and kicks in probably at 1. It usually takes 1 hour and 20 minutes for some reason for me. I don't know why. And shit starts to get intense. So it doesn't hit my homie, and I start tripping hard. I don't know why. I start fucking dying. I'm like, bro, this is hard as fuck. So I don't know why, but I get very hungry. So I was like, shit. I asked my homie, like, yo, you got anything to eat? He's like, yeah, I got rice. He had some fucking fried rice or some shit his mom cooked up. So I was like, oh, for sure. So I went out and we took some rice. So I started looking at the rice. The rice starts fucking morphing and shit. I eat the whole bowl. I don't know why I was so hungry. Very weird. So a couple of time, like a little time goes by, and it's probably goes by like 1 to 2 hours, and shit starts to go hard. So trip's full blast. I'm at my peak. And this trip lasted 2 days for me. Like I was full on blast for 2 days. So I'm sitting there, and my homie puts on some music. So first song he puts on was Drake Nonstop, and if you know, guys, it has its certain beat. Like the beat is pretty fire, you know. And as soon as the beat starts, I'm like, yo, what the fuck? Like the whole room starts going into the beat, and the beat is like the whole room. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm sitting there, all the walls are like pumping morphine and shit, and with the beat, so it was like intense as fuck. And he starts changing music, and every song that he changes has a different setting. So pretty much, he had some. If you guys know "Wonderful World," the song, he puts that shit on, and the whole room turns into like a forest or some shit, you know. And I'm like, the fuck is going on right here? Uh, okay, this is the particular moment that I remember. He puts on Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson. What was the song? I think it was Billie Jean. Yeah, and the whole room turns into a bar, right? The whole room turns into a bar. You know, like one of those Western bars, very old ones, and it's pretty crazy. I stand up, I start dancing to fucking Billie Jean, and I felt like I was fucking in a bar chilling with other guys and shit. And so he had a bookshelf, and I look at the bookshelf, and all the books start moving and like turning into small book people, if I can say that. It sounds very weird, but that's how it was. And I'm like, shit, and they're vibing with me, you feel me? Like they're dancing with me. I'm like, damn, those books are chilling with me. So the next thing I see is this goblin. This goblin is on the wall, and he has like a hat and two big ass ears, and he's just sitting there, and I'm like, the fuck is he doing there? And then I approach him, and he starts talking to me, but he didn't talk to me. He like mindly talked to me, like with his mind. You feel me? Like he was like sending like his voice into my mind. I don't know. This sounds fucking weird as shit. And we were just having a normal conversation and shit. And then my friend changes the music. The goblin disappears, and I'm like, the fuck did you do, bro? Why did you fucking change the music? Like this goblin was chilling with me. And I was like, shit, okay, fuck it. And the other thing that I remember very nice is that, so he had this green ass blanket, right? And from the beginning of the trip, it turned into a fucking dragon. and it stayed like a dragon till the end of the trip. Like, you know, sometimes when you're on acid, like some stuff like change, like you don't see one particular thing all the time. But this dragon was there for the whole trip. I was like, why is it not changing to different shapes and turning into something different? It was like a dragon for the whole time. And my friend is laying on the bed and the dragon is next to him, like the blanket. And every time I try to go into the bed or approach my friend, the dragon's like starts like I know this sounds so fucking retarded. It starts looking at me and like breathing heavily, like it's protecting him. You know what I'm saying? It's like sleeping, but every time I approach him, it starts to like grumble and shit and starts breathing. And I'm like, the fuck is going on? Like I couldn't believe the shit I was seeing because I was like, damn, that's a real fucking dragon, and it was green, and I was like, what the fuck? And yeah, and every time I try to approach my friend, he would like wake up, like the dragon would wake up and look at me, and I'm like, bro, chill the fuck out. And you know, the second, like one time, because I don't really talk to about it, and my friend is like, what are you doing? Because I was backing off from the bed because I was getting scared of the fucking dragon. And I tell him like, bro, this dragon is sitting here. He's like, starts laughing at me. I'm like, bro, this dragon is crazy. Like it's literally sitting here looking at my ass, and I'm like scared and shit. So he takes the blanket and puts it away so I can go and lay down in the bed because I couldn't lay down because I was scared of that fucking dragon. Um, so yeah, the trip was intense. And next thing that happened, we had two wine bottles. We took out two wine bottles. We downed two wine bottles. One wine bottle for him and one for me. We down it. I get hella fucking drunk on shrooms. Not on shrooms. What am I saying? On acid. We pretty much. I got crossfaded with fucking wine, and it was fucking intense. It was like hella good. So it's probably 4 a.m. by that time, and I fall asleep because I got way too drunk. And if if I didn't get drunk, like this shit wouldn't work. You feel me? Like I wouldn't fall asleep. Like I would be tripping for the whole night. So we fall asleep by 6 or 4. I don't remember. Like that shit was weird. And I wake up at 8. 8 or at 8. I think 8. He wakes me up. And I'm just laying there. Fuck, dude. I feel like I'm still tripping. And I was tripping. I was still tripping. I wake up and I'm tripping balls. And I'm like, dude, why this shit didn't go away? Like, I'm still tripping balls. He's like, shit, I don't know. Just chill out. And we go out and I start eating fucking breakfast with his parents. And I'm fucking tripping balls. And I'm still kind of drunk. Like, a little bit. So I get a taxi and I leave. Go back to my house. And I get back to my house. I go and say hello to my parents. And I lay down in bed because I didn't get no sleep. And I lay down, I'm like, fuck, dude, I'm still tripping. Like, all the walls are morphing and shit. It was crazy. So, I needed to meet up with my other friend that day. So, I get a taxi. Not taxi. I go into the metro, because this is Moscow. So, I go into the metro, and I get into the metro, and I'm sitting there, and all the people are there and shit. I'm just going to my friend's house. And, bruh, everything is morphing. The whole train station is morphing. I'm like, they're like, the fuck is going on with me? And this is probably, like, 20 hours after the trip. This is 20 hours after the trip. This is like a whole day already. I get out of the metro and I walk and I see all these buildings, and these buildings turn into fucking like big fucking building people, and they're like just looking at me and changing like big fucking Rubik's cubes, if you know what I'm saying, how the fuck you call them. Like they're changing like that, you know, when you like, if you imagine like a Rubik's cube and a fucking building, and then imagine taking the building and turning into a Rubik's cube and fucking like playing with it. That's how it looked like. So yeah, I get to my friend's house. I'm telling him on acid because I was still tripping. He's like, for sure. So I hop on some CS:GO. We play there, play a little bit. It's pretty lit. We drank a little bit. Probably we drank another fucking beer or two. It was pretty lit. Then I go back home. I go to sleep, and it's technically already a day and a half already has passed since the moment I took the fucking acid, and I'm just chilling. I wake up and I feel a little bit like I feel like I have the afterglow effect, like shit's moving, you feel me? Like I'm still like, why the fuck is it not gone? I'm getting scared because I feel like this shit's gonna last forever. But I'm not, I'm literally, it's just the afterglow effects. Like I'm not feeling I'm not euphoric or anything. It's just like some shit is just moving and stuff. So half day goes by, and by the night it goes away, and I'm like, finally this shit went away. So yeah, that trip was lit and I loved it, and it was probably a very nice experience. Like it was not a bad trip, even though it was very fucking long, 2 days. But I loved it. So yeah, be careful, guys. Don't fucking take acid knowing you're gonna do shit. You know what I'm saying? I was lucky I didn't have anything to do and I was chilling. But again, be precautious with how much you take and shit. And again, what's goody? I'll see y'all guys later.